Well, it seems another victory may be in the cards for the Tea Party crowd. Ron Johnson, a businessman, political newcomer, has been endorsed by the Wisconsin Republican Party and is considered a clear front-runner for the Senate nomination in September of that party. Could he have a shot at unseating incumbent Democrat Russ Feingold? Ron Johnson from Madison, Wisconsin, the political whirlwind has scooped you up. Ron, does this seem real to you?
Well, good morning, Brian. First of all, thanks for having me on. Sure, it seems very real. I have a seriousness of purpose here that we've got to bring freedom back to America.
And what role do you think the Tea Party has had in inspiring you and supporting you to what could be the nomination in September?
Well, certainly I think that the Tea Party activity showed me that there were people in America that were every bit as concerned as I was in terms of the direction of this country, the loss of freedom. And, the straw that broke this camel's back is when they passed Obamacare. And I view that as a huge assault on our freedom.
And when that happened, instead of just complaining about it or being holding court with your friends in the neighborhood, you took action.
Yeah, I figured at some point in time, people like me, people who've just been sitting on the sidelines shaking their head, actually had to enter the political arena if we were going to try and literally save our country.
Now, Russ Feingold, the liberal Democrat, he leads you, according to the latest Rasmussen poll, if this is correct, 46 to 44 from plastics to nearly a dead heat with Russ Feingold?
Yeah, I'm pretty amazed at that as well. But I think, again, I think it shows the level of concern and the level of discontent in Wisconsin and in the nation, really, in terms of the direction of our politics and the direction of our country.
And what do you plan on doing if you get in?
Well, the first thing I want to do is repeal Obamacare. And then the second thing, I'm an accountant by training, so I understand numbers, I understand budgets, and we have got to fix this incredibly broken budget. I mean, one thing John McCain was right about, we are committing intergenerational theft. It's wrong, it's immoral, and it has to stop.
And Ron, in particular, you're going to win over the Tea Party. You've met with them, you've given 2 speeches for them, but you're planning on winning them over real quick?
Well, certainly, I need to reach out to those folks, build a bridge, and I'm very sympathetic. It certainly is frustrating when I hear members of the press denigrate the Tea Party members. The folks I see at those rallies are good, hardworking, honest Americans. They pay their taxes, and they're every bit as concerned about the direction of this country as I am.
More with Ron Johnson in 2 minutes. This is Fox and Friends.
Meantime, Ron Johnson continues to join us. He's a businessman and candidate for Senate in Wisconsin. Good to see you, Ron. So you've been on the campaign trail 6 days?
Hello, Gretchen. Actually, I think almost 2 weeks now.
Oh, wow. Well, now you have political experience, exactly what people apparently don't want, right?
I think in this environment this year, it's probably pretty advantageous to have a business background, an accounting background, right, and not be a politician.
Well, Ron, give us a little bit of your background. Tell us who you are and where you came from.
Sure. I've been building the same business in Oshkosh, Wisconsin for over 31 years. We produce packaging materials. It's a very specialty product. We actually sell all over the world. One of our largest export countries is actually China. So we're one of those rare birds that actually exports to China. And my background really is in accounting, which, again, we are facing fiscal crises here, and I think that background will serve me well to do what I can to help fix the problem.
Sure.
I think people are fascinated, Mr. Johnson, now to see that a political novice like yourself could be neck and neck in the polls after less than 2 weeks with a stalwart member of the Senate, Russ Feingold. What do you make of that?
Well, what we did prior to the convention was work really hard to get our message out. And we used, I called up delegates, I called up county chairs. We sent a lot of emails with copies of the speeches that I wrote. It's things I truly believe in. And then the speeches were actually read over talk radio, so that played a big part as well. So I think we did a very good job of getting a message out. And I view the endorsement, not of me necessarily, but of my message, which to me is far better because my message is one of freedom, of a deep level of concern of what's happened to our country.
And the thing that's happened to our country, Ron, that people are really hacked off about is people feel like, yeah, those guys in Washington, they're not listening. They've got that big checkbook and they're just writing until they run out of ink.
Oh, absolutely. I think Obamacare was a classic example of that. And I think it's extremely important to understand the more the politicians spend, what will end up happening is the more the politicians will eventually take. And I think that's one freedom people don't really think about is the right to your property. And when government takes your property, they are taking your freedom.
Well, I've had a personal experience with that, so I hear you on that. Now you say that the straw that broke the camel's back was the health care bill because your daughter had to go through extensive heart surgery, right?
Right. At the age, actually, she had a procedure the day she was born to save her life. And then 8 months down the road, she had to have her heart totally reconstructed, the upper chamber, when her heart was the size of a plum. And what I had to do is I had to call all around the country. Fortunately, I had the freedom to call around the country to find what is the most advanced surgical treatment. So I realize how critical it is we maintain a free system where people can continue to do that. Obamacare will lead to rationing. It will lead to lower quality. And we also need a free market system that will actually develop medical technologies. I mean, America is the engine for medical advancement. And if we harm the system, we will not have the medical advancement that we've grown to appreciate over the years.
Well, Ron, you find yourself at an interesting confluence of politics. Not only did the Democrats pass Obamacare, but also there's that thing called the Tea Party movement right now, although Governor Rendell says it's not really a movement. What do you think about those guys and gals?
Well, again, I mean, all I ever did is I gave 2 speeches at Tea Party, so I haven't been involved in terms of, doing the hard work that the Tea Party folks are doing, but I'm happy to be associated with those folks because they are hardworking, patriotic, tax-paying Americans that are every bit as concerned about the direction of this country as I am. So I think they're a very positive influence on our politics.
Yeah, but Ron, what do you think about people who say, those people at the Tea Parties, they're bigots, they're racist, and they hold up those weird signs?
They're simply wrong. Those people are wrong. The Tea Party people that I've met at the 2 rallies I've gone to are wonderful people.
What does your family think about you suddenly going from businessman to possible senator in Washington?
Well, they're every bit as concerned as I am, so they're extremely supportive of it. I mean, they realize that this is going to be a rough and tumble campaign. Quite honestly, the Democrats and the liberals will probably come out to destroy me. But the bottom line, this is so important that we're willing to take that risk. And in the end, I know who I am. My family knows who I am, and we'll take solace in that.
Well, if people would like more information, I bet you've got a website. What is it so people can dial you up?
Absolutely. It's ronjohnsonforsenate.com. And we can certainly use all the help and support we can get.
All right. You kept it simple. Great to discuss it with you. You're my neighbor from when I grew up in Minnesota, so always great to speak to those northern folks. Good to see you, Ron.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Good luck to you.
Take care.